crazy dystopian stuff happening.
Cisgender this, cisgender that. Meanwhile,
Democrats went too far with this.
That's what you are. We reduce you to pixels.
You reduced me to pixels.
we're live, by the way. We're live.
Oh, hey. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to another week of Beyond Parody.
Good morning.
My name is Dan Dillon. I am your host. We are joined by just a collection of pixels. Travis?
That's me. All I am is pixels.
I'm not really here.
He's not even as many pixels as he thought he was a couple minutes ago.
None of us are.
And we have Robin, Babylon Bee writer Robin.
I'm just as many pixels as I think I am.
Wow.
That's good. We are without Mr. B. Oh. We've been
Like
calling him
Brady.
Tech Guru, but I think when he comes back, we should call him producer. I think he really like that. A little self-promotion.
Yeah.
The producer, right?
Producer
But we
B.
don't have a producer this week, so forgive us if the production is horrible. Today we got lots to get into. I think the biggest stories of the week are Eric Swalwell getting canceled.
Bummer.
Cancel culture coming back to bite him. Trump versus the Pope. The ultimate war. Politics versus religion. Tucker getting in on the mix, trying to say that Trump is owned by Israel like always and blah, blah, blah. Islam is good apparently now.
He's just doing his thing.
Just doing his thing. We got cocaine hippos.
Hippos.
They don't know what to do with. We've got a hero principal, which is an amazing video. A principal who saved who knows how many lives. And we have a terrible, terrible song from the Democrats again. Just they come
We
up
need to
with
stop.
the worst chants and songs you can possibly imagine, but it is actually really enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Swalwell first. Cancel culture, Me Too, all comes back to bite. I think Swalwell was one of the most vocal people, speaking out back in the Kavanaugh situation about him. Like if a woman says, this happened, then we believe women, whatever. That was really during the height of the Me Too movement, right?
Yeah. He's a very big virtue signaler. So he was always jumping on those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about this particular situation, though? I mean, you can just look at the guy and how he acts, and it seems like that's probably his personality. But like at the same time, like I never just believe women just because women are the ones saying things either.
Well,
but, where there's smoke, there's fire, obviously.
from what I've read, and there's a lot of smoke. That's what makes this.
But why was there only smoke suddenly when it became very convenient for the Democrats to get rid of him?
Whether or not he did anything illegal is for the courts to decide. But he definitely, from what I've read, has had a reputation for being a creepo for a long time. Why it's just coming out now is because that's collateral. It's how Washington works. It's how politics works. Someone comes up with an accusation and someone else says, whoa, hold on to that till we need it. Just wait a minute. I really do believe that happens way more than we think it does. And he apologized. His statement, his video, he definitely admits doing some stuff because he says, I really apologize to my wife for my behavior and I apologize to my staff. So I don't think he's saying I didn't ever do anything ever. Whether or not he did illegal stuff, that's going to have to come out in court.
Sure.
Well, the allegations are really serious against him. I mean, there's actual rape allegations, but again, I don't know how to feel about some of this stuff just because it's a person who I disagree with politically. Like a woman or a man can make a claim about another person and just say whatever they want. So you can't just take anybody's word for it. You can't just believe women. You can't just believe accusers, right? Especially when, listen, I don't know anything about whether or not this actually happened or not, but when she comes out and says that she was raped in 2018, the question always comes to my mind in these situations is why did she not say anything about this before now? Did it actually happen? B, what kind of power did he hold over her if she was afraid for her life, if she was afraid for her career, whatever, which might be the case.
Right.
But it's just really hard to know these days because there have been so many cases where, the Duke lacrosse team, everything like this, there's so many cases where it turns out that the allegations made against the person were just meant to do the damage at the time. Yeah. And then it turns out to not be true. I'm not defending Eric Swalwell at all. I have no idea what the truth or validity is, but there's a ton of people coming out and saying this stuff happened all of a sudden. And it's very convenient for the Democrats because it gets him off the ballot. It allows the Democrats to coalesce behind a single candidate and get a candidate. Because right now, isn't it the case that like in the governor race in California, like they wouldn't even have somebody on the ballot? Yeah,
there's this runoff election, which is such a crazy, complicated system. But right now, Katie Porter, I think, is in the lead with the Democrats, but the two Republicans are actually ahead in the polls. Now, will that hold when the actual elections happen? Who knows? Actually, I just saw this morning that 23% of the polling shows that undecided is in the lead. That's the highest percentage is undecided voters in the California
I love it when that happens.
gubernatorial race, which makes sense right now because there's so much confusion. But I think the Republican candidate has like 17% of the polling. I apologize to my California brothers and sisters. I do not know their names of the Republican candidates. I'm not following it that closely. I no longer live in California. Therefore, I no longer really pay attention to California politics.
Sure.
But yeah, I think you're right, Dan. I think it's kind of like the Epstein files, which I know trigger a lot of people. There is so much smoke with the Epstein stuff, and whether or not I just don't know why you would sit on these sorts of things for some of them 20 years. Sometimes it's 20, 30 years before people come out. And I will say there are tactics that lawyers use, and I have read about this, where they get somebody who said, well, this happened to me. And then they start to build a case around, well, did he force himself? Did he do that? And they're like, well, maybe it was 30 years ago. Oh, okay. And it's really hard to prove that someone didn't when the evidence,
without, in this case, she's claiming rape, and without any type of like, she didn't go to the police at the time and all that, she's not going to be able to prove it. Like, unfortunately, like if it did actually happen, she wouldn't be able to prove that it happened. Right. So it'd always be just simply he said versus she said, unless there's some sort of physical evidence I don't know about. But that's the problem with waiting this long, is that if you really were raped, if something really bad did actually happen to you, you just have to be brave enough to go to the police and tell them. Like,
which is hard. And I know that's psychologically, they talk about how reporting it is definitely really hard. And I think it's like something like 80% of all rapes go unreported because women fear retribution and they fear, blowback. And so it's a sensitive topic. It couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. I'll just say that. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
It is a thing where now that he's, withdrawing from the governor's race and even with resigning from Congress, I'm like, oh, great. I didn't like you anyway. But yeah, it is a sticky situation where I'm like, yeah, you can't we can't do law this way.
When it affects the people that I think don't do this stuff, the Kavanaugh situation,
right?
All of a sudden the guy's going for the Supreme Court, and all of a sudden all these women have all this stuff to say. Like, it's just very suspicious. It's like, okay, like all of a sudden this guy's this horrible person, but nobody said anything for 20 years. Always with politics, you just never know. And I really hope that there weren't. It seems to me like he did some stuff that was inappropriate and wrong. Like, I think that it's obvious from the fact that he is resigning. Now he said he's going to fight the allegations. So let's watch this little clip real quick. I haven't watched this. I don't know.
This is the statement he released, I think.
What a slime ball just looking at him. You can just tell. I mean, you hate to just innocent until proven guilty unless you look like this guy. That's how I feel.
Got me today. Anonymous allegations. I thought it was important.
They're not anonymous, by the way.
And hear from me directly. These allegations of sexual assault are flat false. They're absolutely false. They did not happen. They have never happened. And I will fight them with everything that I have.
In a comedy, it would zoom out and there's like a hooker in the room with him.
A pole, a stripper pole.
Yeah. He's got just sacks of cash next to it.
Also come on the eve of an election where I have been the front-runner candidate for governor in California. I do not suggest to you in any way that I'm perfect or that I'm a saint. I have certainly made mistakes in judgment in my past.
Fang.
I can't listen to this guy anymore. Yeah, Fang. How about,
Fang. Oh, yeah, we didn't even talk about the Chinese spy.
Right. I'm just surprised that didn't ruin his political career.
Turns out.
He could be compromised like that? Oh, man.
Well, the Democrats love stuff like that. Are you kidding me? Sharing state secrets with other countries in order to try and undermine.
Yes, you're right. Nancy Pelosi's over there being like, I was doing it knowingly. He at least did it by accident.
Right. So we have a sponsor this week, private internet access. You wouldn't send a postcard with your bank info written on it, right? I think that Travis,
I wouldn't do that.
Right. That's basically what browsing the internet without a VPN can feel like. When you're online, especially on public Wi-Fi, your data can be visible to people you don't even realize are watching. Your internet service provider, network administrators, government censors, or even hackers. That's where private internet access, or PIA, comes in. A VPN, short for virtual private network, is like a secure tunnel for your internet connection. It encrypts your data so no one else can see what you're doing online. With PIA, your browsing stays private. It hides your IP address and protects your personal information, whether you're at home, traveling, or using public Wi-Fi. And you should never use public Wi-Fi without a VPN. That is my personal take on things. I use a VPN whenever I'm in a hotel or an airport Wi-Fi. It just gives me peace of mind knowing my data is protected, especially when I'm logging into accounts or doing anything sensitive, like posting silly jokes to the Babylon Bee Instagram. PIA also allows you to overcome geo restrictions. Many websites and services are only accessible depending on your physical location. And streaming platforms offer different libraries in different countries. With PIA, you can change your IP address to one of 91 countries or any of the 50 US states, giving you access to more content and even helping you bypass regional sports blackouts. There you go. And it's super easy to use. You just open up the app, tap connect, and you're good to go. If you want a simple way to protect your online privacy, check out private internet access at piavpn.com/Beyond Parody to get an exclusive 83% off plus 4 months free. Stay safe, stay private, and browse with confidence. Again, that's piavpn.com/Beyond Parody, and we will put a link in the description of this video below. Speaking of this video, go ahead and give us a like. Click the little bell icon to get notified whenever we post new videos, and subscribe to us if you're not subscribed, because we're like the best channel to be subscribed to, I think.
Mm-hmm. We are the very best.
The very best.
But only do that if you're on a VPN.
Yeah, you don't want the government knowing that you subscribe to Not the Beyond Parody podcast. That would be dangerous.
Yeah. When President Swalwell gets elected in a couple of years, we're going to really... this whole segment's going to be subpoenaed, and we're going to...
Well, luckily we know that's not going to happen now.
You never know who the Democrats might put up. I mean, Gavin Newsom pulled through as many scandals as there are grains of sand in the skies.
Yeah, I think he cheated.
Newsom?
Yeah, because
wait, in what context he cheated? You mean
he got recalled? There was a recall.
Oh, that kind of cheated. I thought you meant
everyone's like, hey, you know what? We all hate this guy. Let's get someone else. But then he just like landslide wins the actual election that came off of that. It was just very suspicious.
So let's talk about the other biggest story of the week, which is Trump depicting himself as Jesus.
Trump is Pope. Trump is Jesus.
That's a doctor, Dan.
Yeah.
What is this top, though? What is this above him? Like,
I don't even know. It's AI, so it's just nonsense. But for those who don't know, because they're not necessarily always online, like on X or Instagram or whatever, Donald Trump made a social post where he has this picture, and if you're not watching and you can't see, it's up on the screen right now, but he's basically dressed as Jesus with like a sash and a robe, and it's obviously depicting him as a Christ figure. It looks like he's healing the sick by touching them, and he has some sort of magic orb in his hand. He's got everybody's looking up and praying in his direction. So, I mean, the overtones of him being a Christ figure in this picture, it's a stupid AI image, but like are obvious. Right. And for him to claim he didn't realize it was making him out to be a Christ figure either means like he doesn't understand what a Christ figure is or whatever, or is ignorant to it, or he's just lying and saying that to save face, and he did delete it. But in the process, a lot of people had a lot of opinions. One of them being Riley Gaines. She called him out. And then he went after Riley Gaines and said, I'm really not a fan of hers. It's like, are you serious? I mean, I think Riley Gaines, hasn't she been invited to the White House a couple of times now?
Yeah, I think they've met each other. Like, I don't understand. She handled it with such grace, though. Yeah. We did a whole story on it. Let me find the story and see what her response was. So she said, to his initial post, which was ridiculous, she said, why? Seriously, I cannot understand why he'd post this. Is he looking for a response? Does he actually think this? Either way, two things are true. A little humility would serve him well. God should not be mocked. So
that's a really nice call out. You know, it's not like, Trump's the evil. It's just saying it what it is.
Yeah. So then he says, I didn't listen to Riley Gaines. I'm not a big fan of Riley, actually. When they asked, why did you take it down? They're like, was it because of Riley Gaines? So Riley responded and said this: I love the president. I'm so grateful that he's in the Oval Office. Of course, I'll continue to support him in the America First agenda. At the end of the day, I do nothing for the approval of man. Our purpose on this earth is to glorify him in all we do. The Truth Social post missed the mark. It's now deleted. Amazing. We're imperfect people. I know I am. I don't get my feelings hurt easy. And I know with the president, it's really not personal. I want to spend eternity in a real place called heaven. I'd love for Trump to be there too. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. I'll keep doing my part by speaking truth and doing my best to lead others to Christ. And no, I won't be selling merch with his insults on them. a little jab at some other influencers there at the end. I think that was a great response.
That was so classy. Good job, Riley.
And a lot of times these insults from Trump aren't meant to be. They really aren't personal. He just jabs at people. Like his knee-jerk reaction is jab. The same thing happened with Elon Musk when they went at each other, and now they're friends again. And it's like you just can't overreact to Trump, even him throwing you under the bus. Like you really can't.
Yeah.
He kind of, I don't know.
We got, and I don't know, Travis, if you were there, but we actually got into it pretty heatedly over at the Bee with some back and forth discussion on this on the writers channel. And I just said, look, I know Trump's brand is say what I want, do what I want, and people gravitate to that, and I get it. But he just didn't have to post this, and then nobody would have cared. Nobody would have awakened that morning and said, man, I wish Trump would post a picture of himself looking like Jesus. Like nobody asked for it, but once he does it, then you kind of have to be like, oh gosh darn all that Trump. I thought it was dumb. I wish he hadn't. I kind of wish he would just get off of Truth Social, or at least, because we had the Obama monkey thing a few weeks ago, which was dumb. And of course the Democrats ran with it. And of course they're going to yell and scream about anything he posts ever, even if he sneezes wrong. But he just didn't, if he hadn't done it, nobody would have missed it. That's my point. And I wish he had a little more restraint. But again, I understand that's for a lot of people, that's the appeal of Trump, is he just kind of thinks it and does it. But when we're in the middle of a giant international conflict right now, when there's a lot on the line and we really need to win in Iran, I am a little exhausted.
Well, maybe that's what he's saying. He's like, oh man, this, I think we're still winning over in Iran, but it's not going as smoothly as I wanted. I wanted it to be done already. I'm going to post this picture of me as Jesus. Everyone's going to talk about that instead.
But he was a doctor. He said.
That's my favorite part, is that they call him out on it, and instead of just being like, yeah, it was a mistake and I deleted it, he just went, oh no, it's supposed to be a doctor.
I love the memes that came out after that, like of Trump like arriving, and they're like, what are you doing here, sir? And he's like, I'm here for the operation or whatever, and he's like in the surgery room dressed as Jesus or whatever. There's some great memes. I'm a doctor. Hold on, I'm looking at some of them right now. I don't know. There was some funny stuff that came out of it. Trump, you just like people every single time that he does something like this. So there's an outrage cycle, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's an outrage cycle from both sides. There's an outrage cycle from people who, for the first time, saying, finally, Trump's crossed the line. And I'm not saying that Trump can't cross the line, but at the same time, it's like you just kind of have to have this like reaction time that's not quite as quick to Trump, and give it a little bit of time to simmer a little bit, like with the whole thing with like, we're going to end an entire civilization. And then of course, nothing happened. And he was using it as what appeared to be some sort of verbal negotiation tactic or whatever. You just can't overreact to anything Trump does. You take the good with the bad with him. And the thing is, the good is very good. I mean, when you look at the border and everything that's happened since he's been president, like that's what I voted for, right? Like, but at the same time, I also knew there was going to be some crazy stuff that he was going to say, like offensive stuff to Christians, offensive stuff to Muslims, offensive stuff to everybody. Like that, it just is what it is.
I did hear, I think it was Jesse Kelly who was talking about it, and he said, look, if we had passed the SAVE Act, and if Iran was going great, then who cares? But right now, things feel a little sluggish in his administration. So this sort of unforced error stings a little worse, because there's some big policy battles that we are not winning, that we should be winning. The SAVE Act should have passed. It's a real boondoggle that it didn't. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's ridiculous that it didn't. And I am livid.
It's horrible.
It's horrible. And how much of it was Trump? He pushed really hard for it. He's not in Congress, so I understand that. But if we're winning, but we have been winning. I mean, like you said, Dan, the border's closed. But if you look at the polling, people have forgotten about the border, which is crazy, which is kind of it's like a paradox in politics. I'm sure there's a smart person word for it, where there's a giant issue and then a politician comes and solves it and then no one cares about it anymore,
Right.
And that's happening. No one cares about the border anymore. It was the number one issue during the election, and now it's like 13th on the list of things people care about because it's been solved. No one's coming across the border anymore.
Yeah. It's amazing. That's a testament to Trump's presidency, that he was able to obliterate that problem so profoundly. It's kind of amazing.
It's
crazy.
Honestly, it's more, I think, indicative of just how bad it was under the Democrats, because the problem was a lot easier to solve than you would think that it would be. It just took somebody actually wanting to close the border. That's all that it takes. Is
like
just a little bit of willpower.
Two signs of the pen. And that was it. And Biden was saying for 4 years, I can't do it.
It can't be done. All this other stuff.
What's that accent for Obama or Biden? You said Biden, and I heard Obama. So when you're like, I can't do it, I'm like,
I am not an accent lady. That is not my forte. I can do that part of his voice, but I can't.
I can't do it.
I can't do it. I can't. I don't know.
Well, we have enough issues with Congress getting nothing done, like the SAVE Act. In New Jersey, there's a woman, an assemblywoman named Dawn Fantasia. What a name. And she's been standing up against the Democrats in New Jersey in the state house that keep trying to pass bills that are trying to control the federal government. They're anti-ICE bills. And she got so fed up with it eventually, she went on this rant. This is a great rant. I don't know anything about this person's politics otherwise, but I know that somebody needed to say this, and it should be a bipartisan thing, but they keep trying to pass bills that are federal bills in the New Jersey House, which just doesn't even make any sense at all. But that's what it's all about, virtue signaling. And that's what, all of these bills really ultimately come down to.
Symbolic gestures against fascism.
Yeah. And we'll talk about it in just a second, but it's the same thing with this whole vote to abolish basically the Electoral College by a state union of people saying we're just going to recognize the popular vote, and it's unconstitutional. It's unconstitutional. They can't actually do it. It doesn't matter how many states agree to it. The states don't just decide what isn't constitutional. Anyway, let's listen to this assemblywoman. This is a great rant. I love this. This is the opposite of a blue hair breakdown. This is a
regular haired breakup.
Yeah, this is great.
For the love of God and all that is good, can you differentiate between the fact that we don't make laws that control the federal government? My God, what are we doing here? I'm not a lawyer. I was an English teacher and I comprehend that. My 5th grade middle school English students would understand it. If I said, you control this and not that. We're like 3rd grade math here. This is not a value statement on, the safety. Won't someone think of the safety? No, I am coming to you not from a point of ideology, because I know in the minority party, we already lost that argument. You guys are way, way out in the ether with that. I'm not even hoping to win the ideology. I'm hoping to win the logical argument to say, why do we keep passing laws that are going to end up in court, we lose, and the taxpayer gets shafted over and over and over? You cannot vote yes for a law that controls local, county, state, and federal. No, federal's got to come off for this to count. But the only reason why you're passing it.
She kind of sounds like a conservative Rosie O'Donnell.
Oh my God,
hello. Lights on, no one's home. I'm not.
It's like an alternate universe where Rosie O'Donnell has a logic.
Attorney, I need a freaking honorary degree after going through this for 4 hours yesterday, saying what don't a room full of lawyers understand? Ludicrous. Oh my goodness, thank you.
Oh man,
I want her to be my kid's junior high teacher.
I love that. I love that.
We need an army of her in our schools. That is amazing.
Yeah. I'd vote for her for president.
Yeah, or for something.
Just on that one thing. Can you use your brain for 5 seconds, right? And it does. It ends up costing the New Jersey taxpayer a ton of money.
All this symbolic nonsense.
They just waste all their time. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I miss New Jersey a little bit. You guys know that I lived in New Jersey for 7 years.
I did not know that.
I do not have an accent anymore. I just kind of coalesced. When I go there, I get the accent back a little bit, but I wasn't born in Jersey. I just moved there when I was younger. But like you kind of just end up talking like that because that's the way that everybody talks around you. But I don't inherently have a New Jersey accent. But when I go back there, I find myself, no, I'm not going to do a Jersey accent.
I'm not either.
I'm going to offend
I'm not
people.
sure what it sounds like. Like I know what, like
watch The Sopranos.
The Sopranos. That's right. I've made fun of you for that. I say The Sopranos.
You can say either. I think you can say either.
Dan,
Tony
ask me what
Soprano.
state I was born in.
You do say Tony Soprano, not Soprano. What state were you born in?
I was born in California, which is also known as the Golden State.
I did know that.
And speaking of gold, I want our listeners to know.
Oh, nice transition.
Thank
There's
you
gold in
very
them
much.
hills.
The wheels were spinning. The gray matter was processing. We have an amazing sponsor this week that we need to talk about. AllegianceGold.com. I love gold. Who doesn't love gold?
I love gold.
Gold. I think they say diamonds are a girl's best friend, but I'm going to say gold is a girl's best friend. There is a solution right now to a lot of the financial stuff that we're dealing with. The stock market's kind of going up. It's kind of going down. You can stabilize your portfolio from our longtime partner, Allegiance Gold. They operate with the same mindset many of us have right now. They value transparency, they don't overcomplicate things, and they focus on helping people like you and me protect what we've worked really, really hard for. And as taxes come in and take half of our this and all of our that, gold just stays the same. Over the past decade, they've served more than 7,000 Americans and maintain an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Whether your wealth is sitting in a retirement account like a 401k or an IRA, or simply savings in the bank, Allegiance Gold can help you own physical gold, something no government can print, no bank can freeze, and no politician can spend away like Mamdani and his grocery stores that we can talk about later. If you're like many who are starting to believe that the best time to strengthen your position is before things become a little more tenuous, visit AllegianceGold.com/NTB or call 844-790-9191. That's 844-790-9191 and claim your exclusive listener offer. That's AllegianceGold.com/NTB because your family's future shouldn't be left to the decisions that you never agreed to.
Yeah, speaking of Mamdani, he got up on tax day and he was like, "Oh, we're celebrating tax day by taxing the rich," and did this whole
That
video.
video was psychotic. He like looks into the camera with his giant forehead. Oh man, don't ever use that angle. If you haven't watched that video, it's like, I'm going to come take your taxes. It's so terrifying. It's very scary.
I also had to transition out of that New Jersey lady that I say transition too much on the show. We're actually gonna get flagged like LGBTQ friendly.
Hey, that'd be great I bet that would be
that would help our algorithm, guys. That's the way to get get boosted in the algorithm. Yeah. I love transitions.
I love
it. Speaking of the states trying to control the federal government, I hinted at this a second ago. Virginia with their new stupid governor just passed a bill she signed. I guess it's not really a bill. What is it? I don't know. But she's
a statement
saying like asserting that in the future, if you get enough over 270 electoral votes of states that are like all saying they're going to do this, like then they're going to ignore the Electoral College and just vote with the popular vote across the country, which is completely unconstitutional. The state by itself cannot just decide to do this, right? There's no mechanism within the Constitution for the states to revolt against the Electoral College or a portion of the state
at the federal level.
Yeah, right.
But not at the state level, like our friend was yelling about a minute ago.
So, yeah, Abigail Spanberger. Oh, this woman is... It's like, where do they find these women? It's like Gretchen Whitmer and Abigail Spanberger. They just go round them up. They're just these clowns. But I don't understand. Like, I would let them... I think that the what we just watched from New Jersey is exactly the video that these people should watch. Like, you don't have control over the federal government. Like, you're just a governor. It's like when Mamdani was talking about how he was being briefed on whatever was going on. Where was that? Was that Venezuela?
He was reading Twitter like the rest of us.
He doesn't receive federal briefings, like security briefings. these people are just megalomaniacs and virtue signalers. And that's what all of this comes down to, is virtue signaling. Like, you can't just do this. I mean, it's kind of scary to think that I think there's something like 17 states that have agreed to this, that there's this many people who want to get rid of the Electoral College, right?
Yeah. It's interesting. Trigger laws aren't a bad thing. Utah has a few of them. We had a trigger law when it came to Roe v. Wade, where if, it's a law essentially that you make on a contingency that if there's something else that happens, this law goes automatically into place. We have one right now on the books for daylight savings. And if enough states sign on to abolishing daylight savings or whatever, it'll be my whole lifetime before I understand the wording of daylight saving, whatever, then we will also do it. There's like a 5-state coalition, but a trigger law involving an unconstitutional. Again, you would have to pass an amendment, so it just comes out. And all of these things are taxpayer dollars funding their time sitting around talking about this nonsense. It's just, I don't know.
It wouldn't necessarily actually require an amendment, because there's a little bit of, if you read the Constitution, it says each state shall appoint in such manner as the legislature thereof may direct, which is a little bit gray.
Yeah.
A number of electors equal to the whole number of senators and representatives to which the state may be entitled in the Congress. So there's a little bit of wiggle room, but I guess my point is that, like, it doesn't just become the law of the land just because a couple of states say that it is. Like, the amount of legal battles that you would go through, Supreme Court, all that other stuff would take years and years and years. You don't just control federal elections on the state level. That's my point. But there is a lot of wiggle room actually in the wording of the Constitution. That would come down to, again, the importance of having the right Supreme Court justices, and really that goes down to case law and precedents and initial intent. And the Constitution is very clear about intent of the Electoral College. The intent of the Electoral College is to not vote based upon the popular vote. Like, that's the intent of it. That was the whole purpose of it. So I think that you'd have a really difficult legal battle there. But again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. We could ask ChatGPT, who seems to be better than most lawyers these days, and see what ChatGPT thinks.
We've trained my kids when we're talking about the Electoral College and how you define it. It's you all know this, the saying, but it's a pure democracy is when you let two wolves and a sheep decide what to have for dinner. And that's kind of how I explain the Electoral College to my kids, is that when you think about it, oh yeah, the majority should always rule. The majority of people want this. But the reason that our founders conceived of this amazing system called the Electoral College is that so every vote is counted equally. If not, California and New York would control every election. And we all want that.
Oh, yeah, of course. And just think of the fraud that would happen nationwide if the popular vote ruled, right? Because all these states that are friendly to not requiring ID and all that other stuff, all of a sudden their voting numbers would skyrocket. Yeah, all of a sudden, we'd have 140% voter turnout and stuff like that in these places where they can get away with it, right? So the states that do protect federal elections and are more strict on them, all of a sudden would become the minority in the voting and the popular vote. You can just predict exactly what would happen. Just they wouldn't even focus on some of these other states and trying to commit fraud in those states anymore. They would just send everybody to California. Right. That's all you have to do. True. New York and California.
It would break the United States, and it's just one of those kind of brain dead things that people say. Well, and it's when they lose, right? It's when you lose an election, you start talking about abolishing the electoral.
Right, and the irony here is that in 2024, at least the popular vote would have gone to Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So Virginia's votes would have been switched, right? They voted Democrat, right? So it would have been switched to Trump in this particular election, which unfortunately for the Republicans is not typical. Republicans typically underperform nationally. And again, it's mostly because of California. Right. When you talk about the popular vote, they're leading, and then California's polls close. You guys are awake so late over there, Travis.
We are, yeah.
You night owls.
So has nothing to do with the time difference.
No, they're just up till 2 a.m. every night.
Every night.
So let's talk about weather for a little bit. Apparently there's some weird weather in Seattle right now. It was snowing in Seattle in the middle of April, which I guess is very unusual. I don't think it snows that much in Seattle.
I lived in Seattle, like I've mentioned, for 18 months. And what we had when I was there, maybe one snowstorm the whole time I was there, but you get these ice storms, which are crazy. But snow is very, very rare. In fact, when it snows a half a centimeter, they shut down all the roads because nobody knows how to drive in the snow.
Well, they don't shut down the roads to certain types of bicycles. That's what I'm going to show you guys this video.
Okay.
This is like, I love this video. This is like one of the best things I've ever seen in my life.
I haven't seen this.
This isn't even my blue-haired breakdown. This is going to be hard to explain. I'll have Travis explain it to our listeners after we watch the video. But this was spotted, I think this was yesterday in Seattle while it was snowing. It brings out the crazies.
The hell is this?
Needs no explanation.
Is he in Ringling Brothers?
This is just Seattle, you guys.
It's like the circus strongman.
This is like
on the
Portlandia.
Oh wow, it's cold.
Man, some people run hot. That guy definitely runs hot. Oh, what's with this slow-mo zoom in here? Oh,
How am I seeing?
What is this?
This is a circus performer.
You should be juggling.
It looks like a circus performer. It looks like a circus strongman, but he's on this comically oversized bike. It's like one of those old.
What do they call the bikes? It's called a
penny
farthing bike.
Yeah, a penny
Victorian penny farthing bike, where the front tire is freaking huge and the back tire is tiny.
Penny farthing is a whole thing in the.
He's wearing like a leopard, like a Tarzan leotard.
I wanted to have one of those barbells that, like, not a barbell.
Yeah. And he needs a little handlebar mustache or whatever.
He
does have the mustache going on.
He does.
Like, this
he
is
does.
straight out of Portlandia, the show. Like, it really is unbelievable.
Woo!
You know which way this guy voted. Look at that.
Yeah,
it's so funny though. Like, listen to the guy's commentary on this as he's driving away. It's like,
That's insane, man. Another one of those only in Seattle moments. Snowing, and then you see some dude in a leotard riding a crazy big wheel bike.
riding a crazy big wheel bike.
I'm gonna say,
what is that? That is awesome.
People will have their druthers up, but there's something kind of funny about that and a little whimsical in our day and age. If I were out with my kids and we saw that, we would just laugh. Is what I would say. He's more dressed than most of the people in Seattle. They do those naked bike rides.
They do that in Seattle? It rains.
They do it everywhere.
Seattle and Portland are like the worst.
Everywhere where there are a congregant of I've seen them. I was in DC one time when one of them went by. I was by myself before I had kids, and I just kind of went, whoo! Whoo! There they go. And as my friend said, standing next to me, it's never the ones you want.
So we have other weather-related phenomena. We have Wisconsin's Democrat Secretary of State thinks hail is evidence of climate change. Here she is. And I want to show video of the hail because the hail is the real story here. But this is just framing it in a political way because this lady is freaking out by the fact that it's hailing. And it does hail in Wisconsin, by the way.
Republicans say we don't have climate change, but this is golf ball size hail in my yard. This is normal, and we can't keep ignoring our environment.
Hey,
man.
Did she not grow up with that? Because I remember that like maybe once every 4 years or 5 years or a decade, you'd get in Utah, we'd get they'd dent all the cars and everybody would get.
It happens.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's not great, but it's not.
It's happened for years. It happened before hairspray was invented. So
now I will say this is. You guys got to see this video of the actual hail though, because this is absolutely insane. This hailstorm. Look at this.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's terrifying. That'll kill you.
That is awesomely bad.
Yeah. That's nuts.
That'll 100% kill something.
We lived in Texas when I was young for 2 years, and the hail that we got was insane. I mean, and it was golf ball size hail. It would dent everybody's car. It was unbelievable. I never saw anything like that. Like that, if you're a listener, you got to look up.
Bigger than golf ball size then?
Those things look like baseballs to me. I don't know.
Yeah, they look huge.
And there's more of them than you would expect to see. Like there's literally as many hail balls as there would be like drops of rain. And it's just like, that's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like that.
Crazy.
Before.
It's really bad for your cars.
I would say so. I would say you wouldn't want to be parked outside. And that person's car was in their driveway, which is
probably pretty bad for their roofs. in general. Like
there's like new shingling that they can do that's hail proof in some of these places that get really bad hailstorms. But if you don't have a roof that's been installed in the last 10 years, then get a lot of damage on it.
All right, let's talk about, I'd say, probably like story number 3 for this past week, which was just the continued like downfall of Tucker Carlson, which doesn't make any sense. I guess it maybe makes sense if there's a money trail, but like I don't go around like accusing people of that. Like I've been on the other side of that for too much, and I really don't know what's going on with Tucker Carlson.
What is the answer?
So Tucker came out this week, and basically he's been on this like very gradual shift towards like, you know, maybe Islam's a little bit misunderstood to, I've never known a single American who's ever been harmed by a Muslim before.
Well, he uses his own like anecdotal evidence as like,
he's never known one, right?
Now.
But I mean, he watched it on TV on September 11th, right? We all have seen the people who have been harmed by Muslims before. I mean, look at what happened in Australia last year. I mean,
in like March of this year, there were 4 different shootings and attacks in the U.S. Like,
but he doesn't know those people individually. So
he doesn't know them. He doesn't know them. So anecdotally, he'll just laugh and say, they've always been nice to me.
I bet they have.
So his post, which came from Tucker Carlson Network, which isn't him, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know who posts on these things, but apparently they write news articles and stuff like that under his name. It's tuckercarlson.com. He wrote, the people in charge don't want you to know this, but Muslims love Jesus. Islam reveres him as a major prophet and messenger of the Lord, believes he performed miracles, and states that he will return to earth to defeat the Antichrist. That's why Donald Trump's painting depicting himself as the son of God offended the president of Iran.
What?
Oh my gosh. Now we're concerned about the president of Iran's feelings about Trump's post about Jesus. Like, what? It was an attack on his religion as well as Christianity.
Yeah.
So Tucker Carlson is siding with Muslims on Trump attacking Christianity because of his True Social post. First of all, let me just say this, just to get this out of the way. Islam does not love Jesus.
No, they do not.
Islam does not believe in Jesus because Islam doesn't teach that Jesus is divine. And if you don't teach that Jesus is divine and the Son of God, then you're not actually talking about Jesus.
Yeah, they consider him a prophet, but they don't think he was crucified. They don't think he was the Son of God, and they don't think he was resurrected. So it's like
you're not talking about the same Jesus. You're not talking about the Jesus from the Bible. You're not talking about the factually correct Jesus. So it's just a fluff piece. That's what this is. And why are there fluff pieces about Islam that Tucker's so like? If you look back at Tucker's posts from the last couple of weeks, I mean, it's just getting gradually more and more pro-Islam. And so again, I was saying, like, we've been accused of taking money from Israel a lot. We've never taken a penny from Israel. I would love to get some money from Israel. It would be very beneficial to me financially. But we've never taken any money from any politician, from any state, from any country, from anywhere to have an opinion on anything. We've never done it. We've never had a sponsored post paid for like that. It's just never happened. We don't know Netanyahu, and you've got these people out there talking about Babylon BB and all this other stuff, and it's like it's the stupidest thing. So I feel like I can't just go out and accuse somebody else without knowing of doing something similar, right? Like I don't know that Tucker Carlson's getting paid by somebody. All I can say is, it seems weird that all of a sudden this is his primary focus, is propping up Islam and saying it's actually the MAGA conservatives that are the problem, and Islam's actually good. Like Islam's peaceful.
I don't know if he's getting paid, and with you, Dan, I agree. Just saying, he's getting paid for doing this. I do believe that he has been compromised, probably by being fed an insane amount of propaganda from Qatar and from wherever. And they kind of this is what I really honestly believe. And when I say there are massive coalitions in the Middle East that are 100% oriented around pushing out propaganda into the West. They kind of realize this is much more effective than terrorism. Is just, instead of bombing the US and running planes into buildings, let's just convince them that we're awesome over here and that Sharia law somehow is progressive and that democracy and all of your American ideals of, egalitarianism and whatever are oppressive and anti-religious and whatever. And they found Tucker and others, and they were able to feed him enough information, bring him over there, take him around, and with his, bless him, his little baby boy face and his big white eyes, he just sort of bought it. And it's not, we think, how could someone do this? I would never do this. It's not that hard. When people are whining and dining you and showing you all this stuff, if you're not 100% aware of what's going on, and then they say, well, America really is, they have colonized us and all, and you see that, I see this so many times. The reason we have to do these terrorist attacks is because they're bombing our cities and they're bombing our children. And I'm like, this is war. What you're doing is targeted civilian attacks, which is not what the US or Israel are doing. Going into a marketplace with a suicide vest is very different than a strategic air raid in Iran for nuclear, their nuclear facilities or whatever. But whatever. I just really truly believe, whether or not he's getting paid, he has been put on this propaganda train and it has pulled out of the station and he's just going to go with it. And he's getting positive feedback from this really gross group of kind of this underbelly of the Groyper movement and the Nick Fuentes and all of this. It's coalescing. And now there's a video that I put in on the rundown of this woman who's talking about how it is that we can bomb Iran and how the crap, and she's got piercings and all of this stuff. It's the merger of the radical left and the radical right coming together in this horseshoe theory of anti-West, anti-Trump, anti-Republican, anti-conservative values that's might bring us down. And it's I really hope it's not. And I think Ben Shapiro,
well, it's scary because it's coming from so many voices on the right now, or at least really what you used. Well, I never necessarily thought, especially like Candace Owens was conservative. I never really believed that. It always seemed to me like she's just saying whatever she needs to say for clicks.
Right.
But these are people who are typically associated with the right: Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes. And Nick Fuentes is out there saying, I'm going to vote for Democrats.
Right.
And it all seems like a psyop. It all just seems like an infiltration. These were all it was a Trojan horse type of a situation. You install these people, get the trust, and then have them flip the script and make everybody on the right think, oh, well, maybe I'm crazy for thinking the things I've been thinking for the last 20 or 30 years. And it was actually, Muslims were the good guys, the terrorists were justified and all this other stuff.
This just kind of reminds me of like religious deconstruction in a sense, where, someone will like go back and like deconstruct their whole faith and they think it's a good thing, but they end up just throwing out what they find less pleasurable and keeping what makes them feel good. And this is like deconstruction of like conservatism. So they're going back and they think they're intellectual. Like, look, I'm willing to ask the tough questions. Is Islam actually good?
No one else is allowed to say.
Right. Yeah, that's just kind of what it feels like to me.
Well, and who's not screaming at Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens? And this is really telling. Who's just standing back like this? All the people on the left. No one on the left is criticizing the crazy stuff that Tucker's saying.
Well, Ilhan Omar praised Candace Owens yesterday. I mean, like, really? They're actually like embracing their message now. They're like, you see, the people on the right can see now. Yeah, it's they surrounded us from both sides.
Right.
And that's kind of the scenario that we're at, is like the people who are still willing to stand for truth and stand for true Christianity and stand for reason and stand for logic are just now surrounded from all sides.
We're just getting paid by Israel.
Yeah. It's not enough money though. We need a little bit more if we're going to really make a dent in this thing.
Yes, please.
This feels like a fun.
It needs to be
like
a trickle down economics needs to affect Travis, guys. That's what we need. We need enough money that the trickle down economics can get to.
I believe in trickle down economics.
I don't know how you can.
Let's talk about something positive for a second. Let's talk about this guy, the Pauls Valley High School principal, Kirk Moore. We don't need to talk about this for too long. The point of showing this video is that this guy's a hero and people should see it and people should understand that, like, what some might consider to be toxic masculinity The willingness to run into harm's way in order to save others is not actually toxic. It's a good trait. This is video released of the Pauls Valley shooting suspect. It's not a suspect. The guy came in with the gun, tried to shoot people, being tackled by the principal, and it's awesome. Here, let me share the screen. This is security camera footage. You can see up here in the top left, the suspect enters with a hoodie on.
Sure.
He's small up there in the top left corner. He's got a gun in his hand. I guess maybe on security they saw video of him walking in, so the principal was aware of it, because watch how the principal just bursts out of this room in just a second. He pulls the gun out. Okay, he's pointing the gun. There's a woman there. Ooh. He's got a gun.
Ooh.
Points the gun at the guy on the bench. Oh, he's tackled. His hands held down. Man, that's awesome.
That guy knew what he was doing, like the principal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who knows if he was in law enforcement at some point in time or not. Okay, the guy dropped the gun. They kicked it away.
Nice.
Dang, that like gives me chills.
Yeah. Where did you say this was?
Pauls Valley. I actually don't know the location off the top of my head.
Can I take a brief detour? It's weird to me that they, in that picture, in that image, the video, there's like the seal on the floor, and then there's like almost a velvet rope chain around it, like to cross the seal. Why is that?
No, I saw that.
That's what's important to me.
That's what's important. I saw that too. Like in a junior high or a high school, that's impressive that they haven't knocked those over.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I just wanted to show that video because that is toxic masculinity at its finest, I would say, right? Like that's, and there are brave women out there too, but just an average guy, that mentality of putting others before you and not being fearful and running towards it, you associate that with the idea of masculinity and the idea of bravery and the idea of courage, right? It doesn't mean that only men can have those traits, but those are the types of things that the Democrats are trying to like educate, quote unquote, out of people, right? Like that's the whole purpose is feminization of everybody, and teaching that these traits, like that guy's got some testosterone in his blood. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, that's
a good point. They're trying to turn everyone into soy boys like me, and I don't recommend it.
Travis would have gotten the heck out of there.
Travis, from what I know about you, I know you would do the same thing.
I might not have succeeded though.
Just body true.
Just because you have the bravery to do it doesn't mean that you're going to be successful. I mean, that guy was big. He used his physical advantage in order to secure the gun. He did get shot, by the way. He got shot in the leg.
He did. He discharged the gun. I didn't see that. Oh,
he got shot in the leg, and he was still able to hold him down even after getting shot in the leg.
Wow.
All right, so we have Blue Hair Breakdowns, which I haven't watched yet, but this is kind of a Blue Hair Collective breakdown that we're about to watch. This is the worst chant / song. Like this kind of feels like this is their church, right? The Democrats, and they come up with these chants and songs that are always more horrible than you could possibly imagine.
Cringe.
So cringe. I don't know what the context of this is, but this is a group of obvious
Still We Sing
with pride shirts on and everything like that, talking about this is what democracy looks like. And I guess they're referring to themselves, which is obvious lesbian on the guitar back there and some weird looking individuals as they pan around the room singing what's got to be the most cringe song you've ever heard in your entire life. So let's watch this. This is awesome.
2, 3, 4, 1. We see that there's a wrong to be righted to. We know that we are stronger when united.
Oh, wow.
We exercise our right to assemble for. That's when the proud and mighty start to tremble. Just in case you're wondering. Just in case you're wondering. Just in case you're wondering. Hey, hey, look this way. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
This is just sad.
This would have been such a great episode of some really great TV show 10, 15 years ago, but now it's reality. And
notice there's no diversity either, though. There's no...
Whatever. Everyone's gender diverse. None of these people identify as their gender assigned at birth.
Right, so there's no diversity. They're all the same.
They're all teapots.
Oh, they're all teapots.
This is what democracy looks like.
I used to think, even I grew up Republican and conservative. I've dabbled in the liberal arts, as I've mentioned before. But in my mind, growing up, I always thought at least the liberals are kind of cooler than the conservatives. Like, we're better morally, but they're cooler than us. And man, I don't think that anymore at all.
They're not the cool guys anymore.
These protests are so cringe. Like, how is it that in the last 10 years, if nothing else, we've been able to prove that Republicans are cooler than the Democrats by a long shot?
All right, now we're going to watch a blue hair breakdown. I have not watched this. This was sent over by Robin, so I'm going to experience this for the first time with all of you. Let's watch.
So this is the video.
Oh my gosh!
That's like
the blue hair breakdown is.
This is ultimate horseshoe theory right here, and there are some swears just for everybody.
This is horrifying to look at.
There's a horseshoe on her face.
That's the biggest nose ring I've ever seen before.
How in the hell am I supposed to stay sober and clean when the world is quite literally entering World War III? America's involved between Israel and Iran?
Israel?
So we're all gonna die is all I'm hearing. That's all I'm hearing right now. And you want me to stay sober and clean?
Where's she hearing that from?
Yourself. What?
So her excuse to not be sober and clean is because we're all going to die from the Iran conflict?
You want me to stay clean when we are getting dragged into World War III? Eat shit, bitch. What? How?
Wow.
That's just an addict talking. We're all looking.
That's just an addict talking. She's looking for any excuse whatsoever to take some drugs.
Cycle right now, like, oh no, I gotta take a shot.
If it wasn't the Iran war, she's gonna be like, "You're expecting me to stay sober when I can't get a dollar menu item for less than $1.29 at Burger King,
and I can't get a bigger nose ring. I cannot afford to buy a bigger one."
I picked the wrong day to quit sniffing glue.
She's sniffing something.
You're asking me to stay sober?
I'm going to start
CVS has sold out of Sour Patch Kids.
I'm going to say to my husband, you want me to do the dishes? We're at war with Iran. I can't do the dishes. I want to be clear.
My civilization is going to die tonight.
Can't fold the laundry.
All right, we got one more, and then I think that's it for the week. Let's watch terrible. This. Oh, this is actually a blue hair breakdown. This is somebody with blue hair.
I want to know your male opinion on this, you guys. Your masculine opinion on this poor woman.
Poor woman. She's doing it to herself. All right. I don't date MAGA, blue hair, mask on, at home in the year 2026. This is all good stuff. This is all good stuff.
Okay. But like, I literally would not date a MAGA guy, even if my life depended on it. Okay.
And none of them would date you. That's the relief.
To know.
That's got to be relief for her because none of them would date her.
Even if her life depended on it.
Even on her life depended on it. If my life depended on dating someone, that would be a very strange, not like doing something untoward with someone, but you have to date me or I will kill you. Like you have to go on I'm going to take you to a restaurant. I'm going to buy you a nice meal and I'm going to take you home respectably on your front porch and say goodbye or I kill you. I don't understand the phrase. I will not date someone unless
It's a strange hypothetical for sure.
Strange hypothetical.
It's like the world. This bomb is about to go off unless you go out on a date with him.
With a MAGA guy.
With a MAGA guy
because he's the only one who knows the code to.
Like I just want to know the parameters.
This chick would choose death though. She would choose death.
Yeah, she would. I want to know what this date entails. Are we mini golfing? Is it a movie? Are we going to a restaurant? Like, just tell me what the date is before I tell you I'll let the world end or I'll die before going on a date with you.
It's probably dinner and a movie to go see Project Hail Mary, and she wouldn't want to go see that either.
So don't tell me anything.
Good movie. All right, we're going to end by having Travis read a couple of featured and published headlines. We have a headline forum on babylonb.com where you can subscribe and pitch headline ideas to us. And oftentimes they get featured on the website, even published on the website. It's a fun way to share your creativity with us and for us to steal your creativity for profit.
Yeah.
Hey, we get double profit because we make money from publishing it and we make money when you subscribe. So it's perfect. We don't need Israel in this case. Just subscribe. Just subscribe to the Babylon Bee.
And if you're an Israeli subscriber, all the better.
All the better. Wait, do we have a special Israeli subscription fee?
Should charge them more.
We should charge them more. Okay, so from The Big Freeze, troubled podcaster asks Trump what he must do to be MAGA.
That's
great.
good. That didn't get published. I'm surprised by that.
Oh, it didn't get. Oh man.
No, just
That's,
featured.
yeah, just featured. From Kurgal, progressive outraged after big beautiful bill leaves her with an awesome tax return.
Tax returns were awesome this year.
Yeah,
everybody says
and
so.
Everyone's upset about it, except Elizabeth Warren is very upset.
She's very upset that they're That's a great image.
This is a really good one right here.
Yeah.
This is great.
From Bat Night, storks learn to code after seeing decline in U.S. birth rates.
That's a slow burn one that you have to think about a little bit.
That's a good one.
I love it.
I mean, it was only published. It was only submitted 13 hours ago, so there's a chance that
I'll go pitch it and claim it as my own.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Smart.
That's just like one of those
Travis,
evergreen.
paper, rock, scissors you for that one.
From Don't Slow the Earth, sad. Grandma can't remember why she takes her Alzheimer's meds. It is sad.
Turtle for that one.
Oh, jeez.
Another sad one.
Mm-hmm. From Dr. Conservative Prof. Sad. Nuclear war didn't happen before tax day. But then you want to get your great return.
There's a lot of good featured ones on here right now. This is featured, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is trending.
Oh,
That's
trending.
Oh,
That's
this
why
is
they're all
better.
Yeah, these aren't
should
even
be
featured. These should be featured. I like the trending tab. Let's go to the published ones. We'll see which ones have been published this week since last time.
Loading headlines.
This is what democracy looks like.
You said they couldn't sing, and that's stuck in my head, so I don't know what
It's
you're
going to be on.
talking about.
Yeah, it's catchy, if nothing else.
From Malapris, Minnesota Somalis caught celebrating tax day.
That was fantastic.
Wow.
That's so great.
I think that
the
one
way we
changed a
published
lot.
it was the Somali community in Minnesota would like to remind America that today is tax day. It's a good one. All right, next one.
Neo Hillbilly. Trump nails his 95 truths about Pope Leo to the Vatican door.
I think we did. He nails a copy of Art of the Deal.
Yeah.
Wasn't that what we published? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it for the week for the published ones. These are great.
Yeah.
I like that trending tab. That was fun. It was maybe a little bit less curated, and I like that. It was
But they were great.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get there.
Yeah.
We don't have Mr. B here to ask personal questions this week, so. Robin, Travis, you guys have any personal questions?
He did put one. Remember, he put one on that he said we should read. If you had to be stranded on a deserted island with someone from
desert island,
it
made
says
a dessert.
deserted island.
A desert island, wow.
A desert island with someone from the podcast. I'm gonna take out the podcast just in general. If you had to be stranded on a silent island with someone, who would it be?
Silent island.
A silent island.
I would, if I had to be stranded with anybody from the podcast, I guess it would be I was going to say our female friend name who works for us, because it would be awkward for me to be stranded with a male person. So, but we don't have a lot of women around here. So myself, to be honest, as a tired mom of 5, can I just pick to be alone?
Do we have to choose only between people who are like on the podcast as guests or podcasts
as guests?
Oh, well, in that case,
in that case, all of us are choosing Dean Cain.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or Micro.
Yeah.
I think it could be anyone.
Remember, you get paid by me.
Yeah, but it'd be weird if I'm like, I just want to spend we'll just sit and talk about politics on a desert island.
Eric Swalwell.
No.
We talked about him on the podcast.
I think I'd want to be alone on a desert island, so I can eat whatever I want without any judgment from Dean Cain.
All right, so if you were stranded on a desert island, which dessert would it be, Robin?
Dessert. I love a good I'm a pastry girl, so give me a Danish, like a cream cheese Danish with a good raspberry filling on the top. Forever, and a good cup of coffee. That's my happiness right there. A pastry and a good cup of black coffee. That's all I want.
What about you, Travis?
So here's the thing. I want to say ice cream, but I don't want to die of hypothermia, because
could be
there's things to consider on an island made out of ice cream.
Well, if it's a tropical island and you don't have electricity, the ice cream wouldn't last.
Well, I didn't know the island was made out of the dessert.
That's what I thought it was.
It could be made of the dessert, or it could just simply be there's a lot of desserts that got left on the island.
Oh, okay.
or they're
then I'll
delivered
go with-
there on a regular
I'll go
basis.
with ice cream because this isn't necessarily a tropical island. It could be somewhat in the North Pacific, off of Alaska.
Dan, what's your dessert? Your island dessert of choice?
You know, I'm pretty simple when it comes to dessert now. I'm not young anymore, and for whatever reason, I don't have like the same sweet tooth that I used to. So I think that just like standard chocolate ice cream is like I would just eat that. But I also really like, my girls are super into Nutella right now, and they got these Nutella filled croissants the other day, and it was like warm and it was really good. But that a la mode with a little vanilla ice cream on top would be killer. That would be awesome.
Yeah. A Paris crepe with Nutella and banana, like that you get when you're walking down the streets of Paris. Those are the best dessert.
Can pancakes count as a dessert?
Sure.
Then Pancake Island.
Is there sugar? Is there sugar and syrup?
Boy, is there.
Boy, howdy.
Pancake Island is great, except for all the giant apes. So
still has apes.
Still
has apes.
On that note, let us know what dessert you guys would choose if you were stuck on a dessert island. It's hard to even say it.
It went from Swalwell sexual misconduct to desserts. That's why I love this show.
Stuck on a dessert island. Let us know in the comments below which dessert you would choose. Thanks for joining us. Like, subscribe, put the little bell icon, comment on the video. We'll see you guys next week on Beyond Parody.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
They've always been nice to me.
Oh no, I gotta take a shot.
This is what democracy looks like.